still holding on to certain relationships, not that I am, but I'm saying men, and it just manifests itself. It just looks as I'll keep it inward, and you all may be a little bit more verbal about it and will express, and ours may be expressed not connecting to anybody. It's like, well, I ain't say it verbally, but non-verbally, this is how I felt about that situation. This is how I'm going to, behave.
Hi, everybody that's joining us on Periscope. Thank you, Barry. Hi, everybody that's joining us on Periscope. Yeah, so Blab, they flaked out on us, so we're on Periscope right now. So I know some of you are like, we want to see you. So hopefully you can hear us. So if someone can log into Periscope and let us know if you can hear us on the phone lines as our gentlemen are responding. So thank you, Barry, to that for that answer. That I love how you said that men and women are actually more alike than we give ourselves credit for, and I think it's also a pride issue. It's a pride issue that men and women, it doesn't have to always be sexual in relation or in nature, but I think sometimes if we just take a moment and humble ourselves, I think we would be a little bit more successful in how we relate to each other, because for me, it's really just taking the time to understand what's happening, understand what's going on. Why is this happening? Why is he upset? Why did he cheat? Now, what I've learned with women, after coaching women, for those of you who don't know us, we've been married, Donald and I, husband has been married. We've been married for 16. It'll be 16 years this June. And what I found is one of the biggest challenges that I've had is, like I said, not only just being patient, but understanding where he's coming from. So I'm always like, why? I sound like a broken record, right? And so, oh, did you just throw shade?
I didn't even say anything.
He was throwing shade. Just for those of y'all who couldn't see us, for those of you that are on the line, if you want to log into Periscope so you can see our facial expressions, yeah, he's a little weird. So y'all just pray for me. I love you though. So anyway, one of the challenges when we were talking about us being the same in a lot of ways, but how we manifest it are two different things. How we communicate love, even though it may be the same, it may be different. It's still the same, but how we execute our love is completely different. So then women, we feel neglected, and y'all are like, dude, I just spent like $1,000 on you at dinner. Like, what's your problem? Right? And then we as women, we're like, well, it's not about the money. It's about quality time. We're just so...
We're like, no, it really is about the money. Believe that.
And so that's why a lot of women, when we have sex outside of marriage, amen, I'm just saying, when you have sex outside of marriage, what happens is it really, it complicates things, because you end up thinking the men are like, look, I spent $1,000 on you at dinner, boo. So now I don't know what kind of dinner you getting for $1,000. I mean, come on, saints. I mean,
dropping $1,000 at dinner.
Not a no dinner. Not for a chick. We just hanging out. No,
that's a trip.
Right.
That's the budget for a vacation.
But it just saddens me, because how can we help women understand that you guys hurt? What is it that we can prove? What can we learn from you guys so that we know, okay, they hurt too. They have a problem. You guys have I don't want to say heart problems like y'all got indigestion, but y'all have problems with your heart. You have trouble. I love how Elam said, after I got hurt in high school, thank you for that transparency, because there's always a starting point. Every man just don't start off being a hoe. Like, you just don't wake up and say, I'm gonna be a hoe. It doesn't work like that. What I've learned is men have been either exposed to porn at a very young age, exposed to fornication at a very young age, whatever the case may be. So they end up doing things not, outside of their character, or outside of even before they had a chance to build their character. So Elam, and we're going to bring our brother Nathaniel in just a moment. Can you help our audience understand how we as women can do a better job of understanding you guys without beating you up? Like, how can we do that? Periscope, if you can hear Elam, give me thumbs. Elam, if you can hear Elam on our phone line, just give me thumbs, and then that way we'll know. Periscope, I'm sorry. If you can hear me? Yes, go ahead, Elam.
Oh, okay. So you're saying, how can we, that's, I honestly, I would have to reverse this and maybe challenge the men, but because that would take I would need another 30 seconds to think about that one.
Okay.
How women can do that. So in the meantime, while I'm going to multitask and think about that, I would say I would challenge the men to say, we would have to, I think one of the secrets is not out there that we need to understand. The faster that we understand ourselves, the faster that we can satisfy somebody else. So when a man does that and more understands his emotions and what sets them off, because there are a couple of things that just set me off, right? So over time, I've been able to communicate that information with my wife. But when I just meet you, I just met you, it's been like a month, and I've been hurt about this. You normally don't get into that moment until you said to yourself, you know what, this is somebody who I want to, spend the rest of my life with, or, this is the one. Then you start to share the past and the deep, dark secrets. So I guess the answer would be you just have to give that time. Over time, if somebody speaks, they're kind of giving you examples of, what hurt me in the past, and then you have to just pay attention and watch. And then you can couple their actions that they do, couple with time, and when they begin to expose, okay, what has hurt me, then that will kind of let you know that man's thoughts. Am I making sense?
Yeah. So basically, you're like, the women can't do this on their own. They have to kind of get the men's guidance on how to overcome that. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
That's good.
And that takes time. That's not something that normally happens in the first couple of days, weeks, a month, or a month out. Every time you hear his name, you get butterflies and you all giggly and happy. Well, a month out, he's not already thinking, maybe I should tell her how, I have abandonment issues. Because my father wasn't in my life. So I'm thinking that, hey, I don't want to, be emotional or something. No. You see what I'm saying? A guy's not going to tell you that 30 days out.
That's so good. That's good. Y'all hear that? A man is not going to tell you 30 days into a relationship that he has abandonment issues. Oh my God, that's amazing. Barry, did you want to add to that?
Let me see. I guess I will. You're talking about understanding us, and again, my viewpoints may be slightly different. Whereas, again, I really believe that again we're more alike than we give ourselves credit, meaning the men and women. And then the second thing, I think. We're looking for like a blanket answer, like, okay, what do men think or what do women think? And part of me feels like each man differs. So it requires a consolidative approach from that woman to that specific man. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, okay, I can give you an answer, but like, well, this is how you're going to be able to understand your man, and this is what he means. Each brother on his phone or that exists is different. The different background experiences. So when it comes to, Elon made a great point with saying, you first got to understand yourself. Like, so a woman has to be, at a place where she really understands herself, is confident within herself, so she can kind of almost deal with the consultative process. Like, okay, I can go through this needs and fact-finding process with you. I'm patient enough to do it. So, and even being inquisitive enough, observant enough to see what the specific things about that gentleman. Yeah. And then, those needs, and then meet those needs accordingly. And like you would say, it is a time thing. It's going to manifest itself through behavior, through candid conversations, even through, crisis. Like a lot of times in a relationship, the crisis brings stuff out of people. So you
That's good.
See these things over a period of time. But again, my point is this. One, just really her taking the opportunity to be comfortable with herself, to be patient, and be truly try to understand her man. There isn't a blanket answer to all the brothers.
That's good. That's really good. I love how you said crisis. Oh, that's so good. That crisis really helps you understand what you're dealing with. That's why I always tell ladies that who I coach in our mentorship program, I let them know, listen, don't be trying to get married within a year. Go through a whole cycle in a relationship. So go through Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, your birthday, his birthday. It would also will be great, not great, but it's an indicator how they handle stress during grief when someone passes away. How do you deal with crisis management from a financial perspective? Church matters, if there is a church matter. Go through an entire year. And even those of you that are married, especially when you have a reconciliation issue, and let's say your man cheated on you, you don't let him just come back like, okay, he cheated last week and then he gets to come home next week. No, there has to be some restoration taking place, because even that man, and honey, correct me if I'm wrong, he has a responsibility to be accountable for his actions, and he's not altogether restored right away to his rightful place.
And that's part of the problem, because if we're not held accountable, if there isn't a period of restoration, then we're very likely to repeat the cycle. So if your man cheated on you, and
now we're talking marriage cheated, because if you dating somebody, that ain't cheating, y'all fornicating. Amen. No shade.
If your spouse cheated on you and there was no period of restoration, there was no accountability, we didn't take a deeper look at what the root cause of the issue was, then it's highly probable and highly likely that it'll be a repeat type of offense. It's like somebody that's incarcerated. If they don't go through the steps of being rehabilitated or learning new skills or learning why they were committing the crimes, it's highly likely that they're going to return to prison, and commit crimes again.
Right, exactly.
So we definitely have to go through that period. And our biggest problem in relationships, particularly nowadays, everybody's in such a rush.
I know.
And we rush past, everything. If we've been dating for a while, oh man, we've been going together about 2 paydays. This is pretty good. Let's go ahead and link up. And it's like, dude, we haven't, you haven't gone through anything. We don't know who this person is. We don't know, what their background is. And we take on a lot of baggage. And I know people that have gotten married very, very quickly and, experience a lot of trauma just because you don't know people. My wife and I, we dated a year. We were engaged a year before we got married, and we still didn't know each other.
And still don't.
And we've been married 16 years and still don't know everything about each other. We're still discovering new layers and deeper depths and those types of things. So particularly, for folks that, date a month or so, and the next thing you know, that's what's up. Yeah, two pay cycles. It's like, dude, come on now. At least the bank want to see, 90 days of consistency before they give you a loan or something. So, that's one of the big issues. We're just in such a rush these days that we miss a lot of warning signs that are there. Not necessarily that it has to be a deal breaker, but there are some things that may be there that need to be addressed, that need to be taken a look at. It's Mother's Day. His mother is no longer with us. How does he handle that? How does he react to that? How does he deal with grief? Did he ever deal with it? It's just a lot of things that we have to ask ourselves, and not be in such a rush. So take our time.
Brother Donald, can I just ask one quick question of you?
Yes.
To kind of piggyback on that.
Absolutely.
And this is what I'm a work in progress on, and I know a couple of people out there. People struggle with this as well. But what if God's plan from a time perspective is not your 30 days or not the 6 months or not the year that you're willing to wait or go through? But and the reason why I asked that question is because, God's plan might be, hey, okay, this brother is dealing with this situation from his past right now. And God's plan is maybe 6 months to a year, 2 years from now, he will arrive when it comes to this particular issue that he might
Absolutely, it makes perfect sense. And you brought up a key point. You prefaced the whole thing with, what if God's plan is different than the timing that you had in mind? And I think the critical point is that is being in tune with what God wants as far as our relationship is concerned. There are situations that I know that have worked out very, very well where people were able to meet in a relatively short period of time, and because it was God ordained, they're married, and it's working out, and it's they're having a wonderful marriage. But it's something that they put before God, and they were ready. God had done the work on them. And then there are other situations where I know people that have had to wait 4, 5, 6 years for certain things to be processed out. So it does require patience. It does require a level of maturity and delayed gratification, and not wanting to just rush and do things the right way. Because a lot of times when we rush, if you look at a recipe for a cake, I've been watching these, cooking shows where you have recipes, and if you're baking something, you can have all the ingredients, you can put it in the bowl, mix it up, and put it in the oven, and you can cook it and try and cook it too fast, and it'll have the appearance of being done on the outside, but if you cut into the middle of it, it's gooey, it's not done. And so that's a part of the thing, is we don't want to go through the process, and sometimes going through the process really does produce maximized results.
Absolutely. And we have our other oops, sorry.
Sorry.
We have our other guest, Nathaniel Webb, on the line. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. How are you all today?
We are fantastic. The question on the table is, why is it men are able to move on from relationships a lot faster than women? Why are men able to move on from relationships a lot faster than women? I should say seemingly. The other gentleman basically said, one of the things that stuck out for me was Barry said that, we try to create this blanket discussion as it relates to how we deal with that, but that's not always the case. Your man may really not be whole or whatever, and then the next guy, he might really be good. That's this one right here. He'll be like, no, seriously, I'm good. I don't need to go to therapy. I don't need to pray. I don't need to do any of that. I'm good. Like, for real. I prayed. I asked God for forgiveness, and I'm done with it. Okay? And I'm like, but how are you able to do that? I'm just trying to overanalyze everything. He's like, no, literally, I'm over her. I don't know what you're talking about. So, in your opinion, why is it that men are able to move on?
Even in response to the gentleman that was speaking just previously, he talked about what he had went through, but I went through a serious hurt, and I got divorced because I was cheated on. What I did when I went through the process, it was very stressful. So what I did, I didn't want to bring anybody in to my life. So what I did, I took a year or so just for myself to heal and to get myself together, because I didn't want to afflict that on anybody else, because a lot of times hurt people typically hurt people.
Right.
So I took myself out of the equation, so I didn't even put myself in a situation that I brought anybody else into my life until I got myself together.
Wow.
Like you said, as he talked about the king, and people want to rush into stuff, but you need to sometimes get yourself together where you can bring somebody back into your life. Because a lot of times you don't even realize you carry scars and hurt, and you don't even realize that even sometimes something appears. It may not even be it, but it looks like that's some of the same thing I went through before. We react, and then we're like, wow, and it's not. And then we find out it's not even that same situation. So we have to take time. So I think it's important for me that you take time to yourself.
That's so good. But here's the question though, Nathaniel, which is great. But some men feel like that's a punk move to spend time by yourself. Like, I get these hoes, that's what I do. That's how some men talk. So how they pay women back for being cheated on, they start sleeping with a whole bunch of other women, especially if they had issues with their mommy issues, things of that nature. They tend to